White men fight back against what? Other white Christian men? Did they not get the memo that it was another white Christian man that shot Charlie Kirk? What are they protesting about? White men fight back against whom? I mean, they're going to use this obviously as a rallying cry to continue to be more racist, because that's what they are when you have a bunch of neo-Nazis and white supremacists upset that Charlie Kirk is no longer with us. It makes me wonder what kind of Christian values Charlie Kirk was talking about if the white nationalists and the white supremacists are upset that he and his ideas are no longer with us. Anyway, who are they fighting back against? Because it's constantly white Christian men in this country who are the problem. It's not just white men, it's white Christian men. It's always Christian men, Christian pastors, Christian politicians. How many white Christian men do you think we're going to find on the Epstein list if it ever gets released? Oh, I bet you there's going to be a lot of white Christian men on that list. It's always white Christian men. So let's not pull punches and act like that's not the case. The problem in this country is white Christian men. I can't imagine what's going to go wrong when you have a bunch of neo-Nazis talking about white men fight back. Is this how we make America great again? Okay. All right. Let's see what happens. It won't be good.
Did you see the parade of angry white men chanting, "White man fight back, white man fight back"? It's extremely alarming to hear, but I'm more so confused. My brother in Christ, for people that look like us to the outside world, it appears that we run and own everything. So most people are curious, who are you fighting back against? And not only that, if you're talking about Charlie Kirk, if you're talking about most mass and school shooters, they're people that look like us. They're white people. So I'm genuinely confused. When you're out there in the street with your tiki torches and you're yelling, "White man, fight back," what? Who? Who are you being oppressed by? Ourselves? We need to be fighting ourselves? I'm curious. And not to mention, after the third or fourth time saying, "White men fight back," don't you just naturally want to get quiet and just be like, oh, maybe white men should be fighting back against our own, against fellow people that look like us. We can stand up for injustices, absolutely, but to think that white men are the ones being oppressed, hard to gain an audience on that platform, my guy.
Back, white man fight 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 back.
Radicals on the right as well. We have radicals on the left. People are watching all of these videos and cheering. Some people are cheering that Charlie was killed. How do we fix this country? How do we come back together?
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime. They don't want to see crime.
Worried about the border.
They're saying, we don't want these people coming in. We don't want you burning our shopping centers. We don't want you shooting our people in the middle of the street. The radicals on the left are the problem. And they're vicious, and they're horrible, and they're politically savvy. Although they want men and women sports, they want transgender for everyone, they want open borders.
All right, so let's get a few things straight. He was an independent, the shooter. He was an independent. He voted for Trump. His whole family was conservatives. His mom and his dad are Republicans. They also voted for Trump as well as the shooter. And the shooter himself ended up voting for Trump. Unlike what Nancy Mace ended up saying, he wasn't trans. He wasn't a part of that whole community. Yeah, so their narrative did not age well at all. Did not age well at all. Dude just had hate in his heart. That's it. He did not like what Charlie Kirk ended up saying, and as I've already indicated, you guys, I didn't agree with anything that Charlie Kirk ended up saying. Maybe one or two things that he ended up saying, but no, most of the stuff that came out of that guy's mouth, not at all. Not at all. But still did not give him the right to take that man's life. So now, let the courts decide. Plain and simple. Pretty sure people are going to be watching it, you know. Not sure if they're going to televise it or not, but, you know, time for the courts to handle the system. They got the dude, didn't off himself, sitting in jail. His own father turned him in. Let me know your thoughts.
In this video, we take a look at some white Americans who react to the viral video, "White Men Fight Back." Now, All this is as a result of a reaction to Charlie Kirk, who has been unalive in the United States of America. Now, even before investigations were launched to reveal the real culprit behind the unaliving of Charlie Kirk, some white men believe or thought that it should be a black man who might have committed this atrocity. So they began chanting, "White men fight back, white men fight back." But in the end, it was revealed that it was a white man who actually carried out this particular activity. So let's watch as other white men react to this particular viral video. Then we'll come back here and discuss further about it. But before we watch the video, if you haven't yet liked this video, kindly like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let's watch the videos together.
Let's say this. Democrats own what happened today. I am devastated. My kids have called panicking. Every conservative in the country called panicking.
She's a lawmaker. She's a congresswoman. And she's not the only one saying this. The Democrats are responsible for this. Fox News, Jesse Waters, the Democrats are responsible for this. They're literally telling the conservative, the right-wing viewers, the right-wing voters, the right-wing crowd to declare war on the left. And what's the result of that?
This video's in regards to Charlie Kirk. And this video's for the liberals. It's war, muckers. We're coming for you. We're coming for you. And spare me your self-righteous bullshit lectures. I don't give a We're coming for you.
When I said earlier that I condemn violence, I will not condone violence. This is why violence only begets violence. They are blaming this on the left, blaming this on Democrats when we're not the ones that spread the rhetoric of, gun violence is okay. Charlie Kirk himself spreads the rhetoric that gun violence is acceptable. But I need you to understand the communities that are most in danger with this type of rhetoric, this type of violence being threatened, this type of war on the streets being threatened. Not people that look like me. Unless you talk to me, unless you follow me online, you won't know that I'm a leftist. I'm pretty Republican coded. When they say they're going after the left, they're going to profile people to determine who the left is. So if you are black and brown, if you are trans, if you are queer, if they feel like you're trans, if they feel like you're queer, if they feel like you're a leftist at all, then you can be a target of this violence. And no, I'm not saying that everybody in the LGBTQIA plus community or black and brown community is a leftist. That's what they think. So why do I condemn violence? It's because always in this country, when violent rhetoric gets turned up, it's always marginalized communities that pay the highest price for it. Violence only begets violence forever and always. Nonviolent civil disobedience does work. We need to do it en masse. We need to shut the system down. But now, by the actions of one man, everybody on the right is using this as an opportunity to attack. Because guess what? The people on the right, the politicians on the right, they know they're losing. They know that the nonviolent civil disobedience is working. They know that the tide is turning against them. They know that the American people are not standing for their bullshit. So they need something. They need something to take control of it and stop us. They're grabbing onto this violent act to declare war on the left. And the most ironic part of the entire thing is that everybody I hear from the left is condemning the violence, condemning the shooting, and they are now calling for more violence. It is always their rhetoric that calls for violence, and it is always the rhetoric of the left to preach nonviolence and condemn acts of violence.
Oh my God, Charlie Kirk died just because of a difference of opinion. He just wanted to debate and he was killed for it. Y'all know nothing. You functionally know nothing. Do you actually still believe this is about a difference of opinion? Now, we don't actually know if Charlie Kirk was assassinated for his political views, but it kind of doesn't matter at this point. Everyone's already talking about it and taking a side on this. And I have seen so many fucking white people come out here and be all like, if you support gun control, there's no way you can support this. You need to condemn this. This is disgusting. How could you use violence? And listen, I get it. Okay, it's not easy to see a man get shot the way Charlie Kirk did. I didn't like it, right? But you need to understand that this is not about a difference of opinion. This has always been a war. A war that has been fought for decades, for centuries, actually, and you have been completely blind to it. Charlie Kirk is just the one you've seen because it's big. Like, if you ask any white person who Malcolm X is, right? Just ask them. I've asked my family, and I've asked people, and they generally go like, I think he was, fucking Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know. They literally don't know. Ask them who, what was it, Medgar Evers or George Lee. But ask them how Martin Luther King Jr. died. And I've heard some people say shit like, oh, well, didn't he die because he cheated on his wife and the husband killed him or something? These people know nothing, right? You are literally blind. There have been so many political assassinations going on for so long, and you're only seeing the white one. Okay? You're only seeing the one that's so loud because he looks like you. It is time for you to decide if your political beliefs are worth dying for. And I know that sounds like such an escalation, but that is where we're at. And I mean, black people have known this for ages. Any black activist has always been willing to risk their life for the freedoms they are fighting for, because they know they're not just fighting for themselves, they're fighting for all people of color that look like them. But white people have never had to risk our lives like that. White people have never had, we can go out and say functionally anything and not worry about getting assassinated. But as things escalate, it is time for you to decide who you're fighting for and if it's worth risking your life for. And the truth is, we are willing to risk our lives so that concentration camps stop happening, so that border jails stop happening, so that children aren't taken from their mothers, so that black people aren't killed in the streets. We are willing to risk our lives for that. And I don't want anyone to die, right? I don't want any violence to happen from this, but I understand that the opposition, the war that has been going on for so long, isn't only gonna be settled by sitting down, being quiet, and saying, oh, well, I hope it changes. It's gonna happen by people standing up and risking their lives. And Charlie Kirk was a live by the sword, die by the sword motherfucker, I guess, and he died for what he believed in. I don't think it was fucking worth it. I don't think for one bit anything that he said was worth dying for. But I know many, many liberals that have said things that I believe would be worth dying for, and they go out there and they do the work. And it is time for you to decide what kind of person you are and whether or not you're willing to risk your life for your political beliefs, because that is where we're at. And if you haven't realized that yet, then you have been blind to the war that has been going on for decades. And that's white privilege for you. You're lucky that you've been blind to it. I've been lucky. I've been able to live till my 20s without knowing the deep darkness that has happened in our country. But it's not going to be darkness forever. It's going to come to light. And when that happens, violence can also come from it, because people are going to have to fight for their lives. And you have to decide if you're going to be with those people fighting, or if you're going to be someone who stands in their way. Because that's what war is. And it's unfortunate. That's what revolution is. And it's going to be televised. And that's why we saw what happened to Charlie Kirk. And it sucks, and I get it, and I feel sympathy, and I'm sort of mad I feel sympathy for him. But that's where it's at. And it's time for you all to decide where you're at. Peace, folks.
You know what? I spent the better part of all last night feeling sick to my stomach. Feeling sick to my stomach about the video I saw coming out of that Utah sick to my stomach. Feeling horrified. At the same time that was going on, there was yet another act of violence at a school. Sick to my stomach that Minnesota representatives are getting attacked. Sick to my stomach that we have a nation leading the world with money and progress and all of these things, and you're leading the world with horrific violence, hate, and aggression. I wish I had a chalkboard lesson. I wish I had a word to write and everybody would pay attention, because I write that, I joke, and everybody thinks it's so funny and watches me. Yet I am watching the unraveling of a civilization while people take control over it, amp up fear, amp up hatred, amp up violence, and lead with it. I don't have that solution. I am so tired of a nation that is supposed to be leading this world. All of the resources, all of the access, all of the advantages that they have, and you are shooting each other in the streets? I wish I had some sort of magic quote to say. I wish I could be funny enough for you guys to listen to me and to stop. But I am going to say this. You are not going to beat violence with more violence. I promise you that. You aren't going to just go up and up and up in this escalation of stupidity and hope for a good end. It won't end well. You want this to stop? Come up with actual solutions. Come up with ways of taking care of your children, educating your children, feeding your children, actually helping people with mental health issues. Figure out ways to give everybody access and empathy and inclusivity in that society, because if you don't, it will all burn to the ground. Start leading with the change, not with pointing the finger and saying they're the problem, because that's getting everybody absolutely nowhere. Come up with a solution, and if you don't have one, shut up.
All death can do to the believer is deliver him to Jesus. A bullet fired at Charlie Kirk is a bullet fired at all of us. There will be no mercy, no diplomacy, and no surrender to those extremists and their anti-Christian and anti-conservative values and ideology who seek to wipe us out. Charlie was not a violent man. He was a family man. We are under attack and we must defend ourselves. It is time for justice, and war has now been declared.
Fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
They are screaming, "White man, fight back. White man, fight back." They don't even know who the killer was. They don't even know who the responsible party, who it was. Like the shooter hasn't been caught. They don't know if it was the person of color. They don't know anything. They just know that the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk usually spews is usually against people of color. So logic goes that a person of color would be the responsible party, but they don't know.
Welcome back. So in this video, we took a look at some white men who reacted to the viral video, "White Men Fight Back." Now, even before investigations were launched into finding the culprit who unalived Charlie Kirk, some white men were of the opinion or the view that it must be a black man who might have carried on with this particular activity or crime. Meanwhile, the culprit had not been found yet, but they thought so because of the kind of words that Charlie Kirk had always been saying, things that he had been saying about people of color. So they thought that then definitely it must be a person of color who might have carried out this particular activity or crime. But in the end, it was revealed that it was a white young man who carried out this particular activity. And to make matters even worse, this white man belonged to the Republican Party, because some people were also speculating that this was a political assassination. Now, a top government official made this particular statement that this was a political assassination, and they kept blaming people on the left for carrying out such a crime or an atrocity. Now, when things are happening, other people try to find fault with the other people on the other side, thinking that they are the people who might have caused something like this. But in the end, it turns out that it is never so. So a lot of Republicans who are blaming and labeling this on the Democrat found themselves in the wrong direction, in the sense that it was revealed that this young man comes from a Republican family and he himself votes Republican. So what might have been the cause for him carrying out this particular activity? I believe investigations into it will bring out further more details as to why he carried out this particular activity. But coming to the point that majority of these people on the right were blaming people on the left for things that had happened. Meanwhile, it wasn't so. Even the governor of Utah also said that he was hoping that it wasn't someone from Utah who had perpetrated that atrocity. And he was even saying, he went further to say that he hopes that it is not anyone from the United States of America who has perpetrated this kind of atrocity. So that kept me wondering, what was he thinking? Was he expecting an immigrant to be the person who has committed that atrocity? And which immigrant will go out there and do that? Was he expecting someone from maybe China to fly into the United States and then commit such an atrocity? Or someone maybe from Africa to come over there, commit that atrocity, and then probably go back to Africa again? What was he thinking? Definitely it was going to be someone from the United States of America who had committed such atrocity, and someone from Utah to be exact. These were the findings that were made, and I believe that this kind of things need to stop. This blame game of blaming people even before finding out the root cause of the atrocity needs to stop. I don't see why investigations have not been done, the culprit has not been found, and yet there are speculations that people from the far right or far left might have committed it, a person of color might have committed it, and because of this, some white men were singing the song, "White Men Fight Back, White Men Fight Back." Meanwhile, it wasn't a person of color who committed this atrocity. Now, kudos to all those white men in the video that we showed who spoke against all these atrocities, the evil that some of these people are perpetrating and bringing it into limelight. Now, we need to call out wrongdoing wrong. We need to call out evil, regardless of the color of skin of the person. So if someone does anything wrong, whether black or white, we need to call that evil out and not point fingers in the direction of the color of skin of the person who perpetrated that particular crime. Kudos to all these white men who spoke against this viral video, "White Men Fight Back, White Men Fight Back." Also share with us your thoughts and opinions about this in the comment section below. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family on other social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, and other social media platforms. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just click the subscribe button down here. Click on the subscribe button. Click also on the notification bell. And I'd like to see you again in my next video.